Most people are not ignorant of the risk in the workplace. However, unsafe conditions have become familiar. A walk around is repeated often enough and it becomes how things are done. A misstep is tolerated under pressure and it becomes acceptable. An early warning sign is dismissed once, then twice, and eventually disappears from the conversation entirely. So, this is how risk, like bad habits, embed themselves, not suddenly, but through gradual normalization. In my years of OH practice, I've noticed that the issue is rarely the absence of policy, it is the gap between written standards and lived practice. So, when unsafe work becomes normal, three underlying patterns are usually present. One, performance is prioritized without system balance. Targets are clear, timelines are tight, but the system does not account for human limits, variability, or recovery. So, what people do is that they compensate by cutting corners, skipping controls, or working beyond safe capacity. Two, deviations are not tolerated as data. Small inconsistencies, repeated adjustments, informal shortcuts. These signals are ignored unless they result in visible failure. Three, leadership visibility is delayed. Intervention only happens when outcome declines or incidents occur. By then, the unsafe practice is already embedded in the workflow. Though the result is predictable, risk is no longer seen as risk, it is seen as normal operations. What organizations should do is design systems that actively prevent normalization, but this requires a shift from reacting to incidents to managing conditions. So, first, make work as done visible, not just procedures on paper, but how tasks are actually executed under pressure. Where do people adapt? Where do they bypass controls? And why do they do these things? Second, treat deviations as leading indicators. Every workaround is a feedback. What it highlights is that there is friction, there is poor design, unrealistic expectations, or resource gaps. Third, align performance with safety capacity. If results require unsafe behavior to be sustained, the system is simply misaligned. Training alone will not correct this. Finally, intervene early and consistently, not by blaming your staff, but with system correction. The objective is not stricter compliance, but removing the need for unsafe adaptation. Unsafe work is rarely intentional. It is usually the byproduct of systems that quietly reward it or fail to correct it. So the real risk is not that unsafe work exists. No, it is that it becomes accepted. And once it is accepted, it's no longer questioned. It is simply sustained.